What is up everyone, welcome back for another video. This week, a little bit windy, hopefully you can still hear me. We are talking Rockstar 5 versus Rockstar 4 side-by-side comparison. Let's get into it. Okay, so on the right, medium Rockstar 4, on the left, medium Rockstar 5. As you can see, just to make this somewhat scientific, I've used that long straight level to give us a bit of an idea. It's like on the cockpit sides are the same, right? So it's on the back of the cockpit, which should give us an idea about kind of boat length compared side by side. So Rockstar 5, you can see from the side-on perspective, is a little bit shorter. It's almost a full inch shorter, I think, than the Rockstar 4. But there's some interesting things to note about its shortness, and especially in its width. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see that very well from here, Rockstar 5 is an inch wider around the butt but narrower in the stern. This is meant to be slightly narrower than the Rockstar 4. Looking at them side by side, I'd say it looks pretty damn close. Like, it's hard to see an exact comparison. Bigger differences obviously in the bow, like it's gone from the kind of pointy, let's see, over the top, from the like point back to the square, like more similar to 2016 and 2014. So that's interesting, but the more interesting differences are going to come when we see them in their side profile and on their hulls. But let's just finish talking about the top half right now. The front deck still has that like kind of V plasticky shape, so to give a little bit of extra plastic in that top. But we've got these really interesting side grooves that I talked about in the first look, and these are meant to add more structural rigidity up in front here, which is really neat. This one, just because it has a big, like a lot of sidewall here, that leaves a lot of room for that to start flexing over time. So just something to keep an eye on, but I thought that was a cool touch to try and start thinking about making a more rigid boat in here, because that's going to give high performance. That's kind of why the carbon boats are better, not just because they're lighter weight, but because they are significantly stiffer, and that's what makes them come out of the water a lot better. All right, let's see these guys side by side. So in this side view here, this is where we start to get the much bigger differences, right? You can see that kind of second edge that the Rockstar 5 has. This is kind of what makes it feel loose and kind of make it easier to stay on the wave and just give you more control. Whereas the 4 just has that flattened off, like single traditional edge. And then one of the bigger features is that going all the way to the very back, seeing that second edge going all the way to the back, whereas that's kind of fading off right here. See, we get that like flat, 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 and then it kind of fades out just in that back. I don't know how big that is, a couple hand widths, versus going all the way out to the back here. That's probably going to make a big difference on kind of surfing tricks and freestyle tricks. That's kind of what you want this boat for, right? Is the trick to trick differentials. Okay, so this is much more interesting. So slightly flatter hull profile on the Rockstar 5 than the Rockstar 4, and you can see a little more bow rocker just in the bow part and then flatter in the middle, whereas you can see that bow rocker brake is just a different place, and then a lot more of that like flared up banana ring in the nose of the 4. Let's see that from a side perspective. Like I said, I think the bigger change is just going to be noticing how this is more pronounced going towards the stern, and this is more pronounced going towards the stern. Like that flattened off rail really fades on the 4, whereas that heavy, like thick double rail goes all the way back on both of those rails, and it's a little deeper right there. I think it's probably hard to see, but a little deeper right there compared to right there. So that's going to have a big impact on speed, on takeoffs, on wave surfing, which is what I'm really interested in. The other notable thing is just that volume. You can see your knees are a little higher back here. See that like volume around your knees versus a little lower there. Again, just going to make for a different feel as you're surfing, but I think it's going to be really interesting seeing these boats more and more and just seeing the performance differences once I've got to paddle it a bit more. At the time of recording this, I've still only paddled this boat 1 time at not perfect flows, so it'll be interesting once I've had it out a little bit more. But yeah, this has been Rockstar 5 versus Rockstar 4 side by side. Hopefully you've got some information out of it or found it somewhat useful. And yeah, I'll report back once I paddle it some more. Okay, see you in the next one. Peace.